Hi, today I would like to talk to you about debt, and the opposite of that would be abundance. So, on the upside, how we can go from being out of debt to having that abundance or striving for it. And just not long ago, right before, I wrote some of my goals, projects that I would like to work on. That would be residual projects, passive income, in other words, with using my creativity and the gifts that I've feel like I've been given, and like a lot of you have procrastinated and just going by emotions, just going by feeling like I may not have enough resources or wherewithal to start all this, or when the mood strikes, which could be never, right? So we've got to just do what we can. Before I go further in on abundance, I would like to make some references from the people I've been listening to. Some of my mentors are not necessarily in person, they have been on the YouTube channels. So one of them is Dr. Kevin Zadai. He was talking about how in the spirit he's been sensing this silence, suffering in silence, and that he's praying for people as he talked to people that we're just holding in so much of our problems, of our own dealings. And so I just want to bring that out, that I appreciate his prayers, and I want to speak forth on this because a lot of our world is just spinning, and a lot of us are suffering in silence, where we may feel trapped, we may feel like we're not able to take the next steps. So I wanted to make a reference to Dr. Kevin Zadai with Warrior Notes Ministry, and the other one is who is it? The other one is with Sean. What is his last name? Sean Ryan, I believe his name is. And it's the first time I actually have seen his cast, but I was just, there was such an after take when I saw the film. I fast forward a lot because it just can take a long time. And so I fast forward on captions, and I saw about the woman in North Korea and how she fledged out and her whole story. I mean, it's just incredible. And simple thing as having meals, and I thought about her even today as I made some French fries and a hamburger. I thought about just surviving. And so in America, what I took from that is we have so much opportunity. And with her, I believe it is like Union or something Park is her name, and she fled from the communist country, of course. And I've had a background, but it's nothing like hers. But what I took from her story is that, in America, we deal so much with depression and oppression that it doesn't necessarily move us forward. We use it as a crutch almost. Like we may have oppressants, we may drink or what have you, or just not get ahead in life financially or even in our character. And so with her, she was saying that she's noticed this in America, that a lot of people, and I grew up here, okay? I grew up here. I have a story. Not since I was a baby. I didn't grow up here, but I feel like I've been part of that culture where we just get into, that depression mindset, or just we can't break out of certain cycles, or that we can have so much more, break barriers. And so the third person I want to make reference to is Byron or no, Myron, excuse me, with an M. Myron Golden. Okay, he's very successful. I've had some financial background. I thought that was going to be my route. However, he's just very successful, very business oriented, and has helped numerous people and businesses. So I was listening to him this week, made a discovery of him, and his background is in personal finance. And so I love his concepts of the Bible, taking the precepts of what the Father has for us. I mean, none of this is really intended for us to be boggled down by debts, and all that. So, of course, we ought to stride in getting out of debt. And so I have been where I've been out of debt and also where I have had some. And so, anyway, with being out of debt, we need to make choices, deliberate choices, whether it's not eating out all the time, cutting lights out, whatever, to save. Because once we get out of that debt, we can really focus more on accumulation. So one of the things he mentioned was on speed. Okay. So one of them was, you really want to grab that. So when you have momentum or working on things with speed, where you're just going and going and you're starting to make progress. So a lot of the times we may not keep bursting bubbles. We may just stop because of a certain emotion or things that people say, or they may sue you or whatever, these stoppers, but really just going forward. Just keep on going, because it's the next window. It's the next phase that you're going to find for success. And so I also, of course, was reminded with him that a lot of times we put limits on ourselves. We can't imagine making $1 million a year. We can't imagine making, that in a month or what have you. I've been around high rollers who've had debt as well, and I've been around all types of people. And so one of the things they do have is that momentum, that speed, because it's that urgency of, hey, these things have to be done, otherwise we're not going to get to our destination. The last thing I want to cover is this culture and the cohesiveness of generations, because I wish so badly, and I don't want to make an excuse, but I know I would be a lot further in life, because my nature tends to be where I learn slower, where once I pick something up, I could probably take off on it, but my nature is kind of like being a late bloomer, and so that's affected me financially too. So that can all change, because I know that about me. So what I want to say about families is that in a lot of cultures, that's what I love about different cultures is they help each other. I mean, if they want to get a business started, they say, here you go. What do you need? Okay, we gather up. Yeah, here's the dough. Go start. When are you starting? We'll be there. We'll help you. So in American culture, we don't necessarily have that. And I know growing up, before college, I was telling my dad at 17, I was talking to him about, hey, I want to start investing, into my mutual funds. Will you help me? How do I do this? Dad, can you help me? I want to have an apartment and then have roommates so they're renting from me. And so by the time I get out of college, everything is paid for. Or, not that long thereafter. So he said, no, and so I think if parents can do that, either co-sign, not necessarily co-sign the mortgage or apartment, but if they can help kids to start out and have a head start, have an endowment like the Bible talks about, we would be eons ahead, and all these millennials would not be, most of them would not be in the situation they're in now with this debt, with the burdens. So this is what I want to leave you with. Write down things that you absolutely love, your passions. Write down different methods to make money. There's so many opportunities, especially online, and I've been fighting this for a long time, and I've started the online presence where you can earn a lot. And then of course in real estate. So those are my goals. I wrote them down before, and we'll focus more on that for the next year or two of and the details of what I'm going to do working backwards to achieve those. So next time, or on another cast in the future, I would like to cover housing to really get ahead, because the mortgages are insane. Real estate is just sky high, and there's going to be so much more opportunity in 6 months or a year to buy up if you're in that position. But I wanted to talk about things that are a little bit more unconventional, that I would love to see this fire up, like, or I should say wildfire, take off in the US, and see more people get out of debt and more people go on these methods. So look for me on that cast on housing, because that's about that one of the highest payouts we're going to make in our lifetime. So whoever's listening, I hope that your journey starts today in getting brighter with your finances, and that you can be freer in your life.